Really anything that's front engine rear wheel drive with enough time and proper suspension tuning and power management and just setup can be extremely fast for the most part. So
that's really cool. And something that I didn't know before, like watching your stuff and even just being here and seeing the cars, is how fast you can get for not that much money relative to like buying a new Porsche or something like that. You know?
Yeah, especially for straight line speed. If you're just trying to out accelerate other cars, it's not going to be too hard to beat a factory car of any. You could go up to the fastest Lamborghinis, McLarens. I mean, even Bugattis, the highest horsepower stuff you can think of. If you put pretty minimal mods into a good base chassis car, you'll probably beat them as far as straight line acceleration. But when it comes to like handling and road coursing, that's a whole nother ball game, to where those cars are kind of worth that price tag because they have decades of engineering that have led them to go around, you know, famous racetracks very fast and efficiently. But as far as just, you know, pulling up next to something at a stoplight or from a roll on the highway, it's very easy to build a car capable of just blowing the doors off anything that came factory with no mods.
Is that road racing or time attack on a circuit, is that something that you're interested in getting into eventually or trying to set a record there?
I'd like to get into it just to try it out and be I'd like to get my skill level to a point to where it's respectable, especially like how we're doing the Crown Vic races on the circle track with Garrett. Even that stuff applies there because I have many ways I can improve there. And I definitely want to improve my skill set like on a road course and get into that. But I feel like with what we do to be like an elite level driver, I just wouldn't have the time to tune that. Because there's guys that, you know, they spent their whole lives doing it. A lot of them get into it really young, starting with go-karts. So if we were to build a record capable car, I would have to hire a record capable driver, you know, to push it to its absolute limit, because I just wouldn't be able to. But I would love to get out there and try some more stuff other than just drag racing all the time. And I've always told myself I'd love to get into drifting and kind of enter that scene a little bit. But something about me just really loves the drag racing side the most. So that's what I'm most passionate about, just the straight line acceleration. I don't know what it is about it. I feel like we probably work on our cars we put the most time and money into a car for the least amount of driving out of any other motorsports.
I guess
so
that's
I don't
true.
get it.
I haven't thought
We're
of
putting
it
hundreds of thousands of dollars into these just to go, and our goal is to drive the car for even less time.
Yeah.
You know, we go down the quarter mile in less than 10 seconds. So all that time and energy is just for a quick burr up, and then you're done. Or you're shifting gears, whatever it may be. But I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of stupid if you think about it, but there's just something, you know, just exciting about it, and just beating the other guy to the end that I'm just obsessed with. I don't know.
And that shared, do you think the idea translates of, in this scenario, you would be the limiting factor as the driver? Do you think drag racing, it matters as much? Because I know it's obviously hard to do and keep it straight and get the shifts timed perfectly, but like, is it less of a factor in drag racing? Skill of the driver? I'd
say there's definitely less of a factor, but I think, again, it depends on what level of drag racing you're doing. If it's a stock car, absolutely, drag racing is way easier than road coursing because it almost takes no skill. You bump in, you see the light go green, and you floor it. On a stock car where you don't really have to, you know, maybe do anything crazy, there is definitely some skill in like cutting a good light and getting a good reaction time. But once you start getting into, you know, the more serious side of things where you need to do a proper sized burnout to get your tires the right temperature, you have a sequence in the car that you need to kind of run through in your head, almost like a checklist, almost like some of these guys are probably doing the equivalent to like almost flying a plane, where they're like, you know, got to make sure my intercooler fans are on. I got to make sure these slipper valves are activated, ready to go. Got to make sure my water box is ready. Got to make sure this is, you know, you're doing an all systems check before you get up and go. And that definitely doesn't come, you know, just naturally to someone who's never done it before. So it's kind of a different environment. It's kind of hard to compare the two, but in general, yeah, drag racing, you would have to say, is easier because you are just driving a car straight. And once you get it going, you know, if that car is faster than the other car, then you're going to win. But the road course, you definitely are going to need some more experience to throw down consistent, solid lap times. At least that's my opinion. I have very little experience road coursing, so I wouldn't really know.
Have you ever had any bad situations where you did get ran into or anything like that, or have you come out of it pretty clean in your career so far?
I've come out pretty clean. I had one instance in my Prelude in Colorado where I blew a front tire right at the end. And so I was going close to 150 or 160 and the front tire blew and the whole car dropped to the side and it was pulling me over really hard. So I was putting about all the force I had into the wheel to keep it straight.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it kind of came to a stop and I kind of limped it off out of the exit there. And it was, it was like kind of scary, but at the same time in the moment, I wasn't even thinking about it. It just came naturally just to kind of correct it and fix it. And I really wasn't that freaked out by it. Like when it happened, I knew I was safe. So I never had like a moment or anything. So other than that, I haven't had anything too crazy happen. There's been one time my chute didn't open in the MR2 and I had to get on the brakes really good to get it stopped for the end, because on some really fast cars, if the chutes fail to deploy, they literally won't have enough room to stop and they'll run off the end of the drag strip. So most drag strips will have a big net or a big sand pit that the car drives into, and you really want to avoid going into all that.
Yeah, because if you went into that, it would mess up your car, right?
It could if you're hitting it really fast. A lot of the cars will have like turbos mounted off the front bumper really like low for optimal airflow, and those cars, if they end up going down into the sand, all that sand gets up into the turbos and the engine could be sucking it up. It's not good, but it's better to go into that than into a wall or the other car or something. So the sand is the last ditch effort to get the car stopped if the brakes or parachute fail. So yeah.
What about all the early street racing that you did online and showed online? Did you ever get any serious trouble from any of that? Or I blurred your plates and stuff, but
yeah.
Is that really enough? I mean, it's your face, you're saying who you are, everyone knows where you live.
It was all CGI. All AI generated images, and anything that wasn't was in Mexico. But no, I never got into any serious trouble. We did have one instance where the cops were looking for a friend of mine that was in a video, and they did come to my door with a detective looking for somebody, but it was kind of unrelated. It wasn't like just because of the street racing sort of thing. But other than that, no, I got off pretty lucky. I definitely had some instances where we stopped at meets and the police would come by and they would be, checking out. And they were friendly, but I had a couple times where they came up to us and they're like, hey, we know what you guys do. Just want to let you know, like, we see your videos. So I feel like it was kind of, I got a warning once and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that now. So
Did you keep doing it, or was that when you kind of stopped posting as much street racing online? And
I would still do it, but that's when I made sure every plate was blurred, but it definitely made me a lot more cautious about it. And as time went on and we kept drag racing at the track more and more, I was just like, there's almost no point for us to street race. Even though at that time, it was just so fun to me. It was just so like raw and like I felt the most alive just street racing people down a highway. But I started to realize how, dangerous it can be. And, I didn't want to put myself or a passenger filming with me in danger. So it's kind of like you got to swallow the responsibility pill and try to get them off the street. And, we definitely still have fun out there. And I'm not saying I'll never do it again and I won't rip down the street here and there, but, definitely pulled back a lot on that because, the more you do it, the more chances there are to have something go wrong. So,
yeah. Yeah, I'm just surprised with like how well it's documented that even the officers telling you like, we know what you do, we see you. Like, I guess I'm just kind of surprised that they can't do anything about it, really.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's they kind of got to catch you in the act sort of thing. I think if they really wanted to like throw the book at you, I mean, there have been YouTubers after we had our time that have been, they've had cops show up at their house and they've been arrested for it because they've posted videos online. There's videos of, I think recently there was one it might have been in Colorado. There's like a street bike weaving in between traffic and he got from like one point to one point. It was like a, 60, 70 mile span and he did it in like 15 or 20 minutes. I don't remember the exact details, but he just pinned like hauling, going like 150 weaving through traffic. He posted it online, and I heard he got in a ton of trouble. And I'm sure there's several other instances like that. So, I mean, I'm just glad that we didn't get into any more trouble than we did. I was pulled over once when I was street racing a Mustang in my wagon, this little blue one over here. And I mean, it was blatantly clear that me and him were street racing, and we went right in front of a cop. And I kept going, and I thought he wasn't coming after us. And I like turned quickly into a neighborhood, and I was like, oh, we're good. We got away. But sure enough, he was following us the whole way and could see us. And I got pulled over, and I was with my buddy, and I was like, I'm definitely going to jail.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw him light up, and my heart just dropped. I'm like, this is it. I'm done, dude. And he saw me, and he's like, I know what you guys were doing, but he's like, I'm gonna be real, like, nice to you tonight, and I'm just gonna give you a speeding ticket. It was like an 88 because he caught me as I was slowing down, so it was like an 88 in a 65 or something like that. So it wasn't. I got lucky. He could have arrested me that night for sure.
Yeah. Or if he would have been a little bit closer up in the race and you were going a lot faster, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Well, no, luckily I only hit that, 88 miles an hour. I never went faster than that.
Oh, okay.
Let that be on record.
All right.